Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Now we're going to talk about this whole MSNBC thing. MSNBC's ratings, as well as other Clefty Lefty networks' ratings, are in the actual toilet. They're in the toilet. They're no good. And now they decide to meet with President-elect Donald J. Trump this past Friday, if I'm not mistaken, at his estate in Mar-a-Lago. But before we get into it, guys, I want you to remember to smash that like button, comment, share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click that notification bell. I have some clips I want to share with you. You are not going to want to believe how the lamestream media actually stacks up when it comes to independent people like myself. Although I'm not with the big fish, I'm a little fish. One day maybe a big fish, I don't know. But I'm going to share this with you right now. All right, so here we have MSNBC. And you know, this is the Morning Joe show. This is they're covering, you know, they always say negative things about him and all of that, but I'm going to actually play this for you right now so you can hear it for yourself. And this is about their meeting. Okay, and I'm also going to show you how they normally talk about Donald Trump. Like, what's the big deal? What's the difference right now? Why are they like sounding nicer? I think I know why.
We have seen him in 7 years. Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him. Friday.
Yeah, talking with him. I think the reason that they're changing their mind is because quite clearly they have to admit that Donald Trump is going to be in the White House again. And they know that Donald Trump has said something about an honest media. I think they're getting ahead of the curve. They're not just going to wait until he gets into the White House. They want to make a good show of it. And also, I just got to be honest, their ratings aren't that great. When it comes to the mainstream media, as they compare to independent people like podcasters, like there are podcasters like Benny Johnson, PBD Broadcast, Candace Owens, they get like major views on their videos, major views. And the mainstream media is no comparison. I mean, it is literally no comparison at all. And of course, these people had to do something. They couldn't, continue to do what they've always been doing. And I wanted to share this clip with you from Fox. They had something to say as well.
Saw that story that MSNBC hosts actually went to Mar-a-Lago to have a conversation with President-elect Trump. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so apparently Mika and Joe Scarborough went down to visit with Donald Trump over the weekend to reset their relationship. Yeah, my guess is that they're not going to be getting many calls from the White House unless they do reset their relationship, Maria. Look, all these people who talked about this being Hitler and how Trump was the most horrifying and scary thing that ever happened to our country, all of a sudden they want to make nice with him. Honestly, I think it's mortifying. But I totally get their impulses. They were dishonest. They lied about who he was. And now he's president with a majority of the country voting for him. So you know what, Maria? These organizations who are losing ground, losing money, they have to come round. And I don't mean be obsequious, but at least they have to be in the conversation. And you don't deserve that if you're lying constantly about who this man is.
Yeah, they don't deserve that if they're lying constantly about who he is. These people have been lying. Okay, I'm talking about lying, not just MSNBC. You've got CNN, ABC, CBS. I mean, they just lie. They don't portray him for who and what he really is. And we already know that, the Democrats already control the media. They already do, and they control the narrative, and they have to accuse Donald Trump of what they're actually doing. I've said this many and many times on this channel, that the Democrats, the evil powers that be in our government, their job is to make us think opposite of what the truth actually is. And that's unfortunate because we have loved ones walking around who are believing things that they should not be believing. They're thinking we're crazy because we actually, know the truth about things. And it's quite horrifying, to say the least. And I wanted to, let's see, I'm going to share a post that Donald Trump put on his Truth Social account. It says, "This morning, Joe and Mika, who owe their careers to me, went on their show and claimed to have met with me. They made it sound like we had a summit. The truth is, Joe begged to meet with me after our big win. And when I finally agreed, he approached me like a scolded dog." Oh, Lord. Now, you know how Donald Trump can be. He should consider himself lucky that I didn't have him thrown out of beautiful Mar-a-Lago. Mika was charming as usual. Oh, goodness. Now, Donald Trump does not mince his words, okay? No mincing of words. So he's saying the truth is he got begged. He begged like a scolded dog, okay? That is what the man is saying. And I also wanted to show you something about these ratings. Now, I personally believe the ratings are what have these people trying to think, you know what? Maybe instead of talking trash about Donald Trump, since most of the country voted for him, it's been a long time since a Republican won the popular vote. Okay, he got about 3 million more votes than Kamala Harris. So maybe we should try to just reset this relationship. And that's what they're trying to do. They're not fooling anybody. They're just not fooling anybody at all. Look at these ratings. I'm going to start with the worst to the right here. News Nation, very low ratings. Okay. It says TV viewership numbers for the 2024 election. News Nation. I mean, this is so low. Then we have Fox Business Network. We have CBS, which is 3.5 million. Then we have CNN, 4.7 million. NBC, 5.3 million. MSNBC, 5.5 million. And ABC, 5.7. But look where Fox is, 9.8 million. Okay, we're looking at close to double of what ABC, MSNBC, and NBC are. I mean, look at that. And CNN is way low. I mean, look at that and look where Fox is. So this is a rejection, a total rejection of the left-leaning media. And these people have to absolutely do something. They have to do something. They can't no longer continue with this same BS narrative that this man is a Nazi, that he's all these horrible things. And they just keep spewing things and spewing things and spewing things. You know, people aren't going to want to hear it. And it's resonating very loudly that people aren't watching the news, this left-leaning news, and they don't believe the news because look about Donald Trump, because he got the popular vote. So these networks have got to reset, not just MSNBC. All of them have to reset because they have pushed out this evil, toxic, divisive narrative that literally has family members at each other's throats because some of us know better than to trust the mainstream media, and some of our family members simply do not know any better. And the clip that I'm about to show you, I'm sorry, I really, this is a person I really don't like because I think she drips with venom and animosity and hatred. And that is Sunny Hostin of The View. I think this woman got something wrong. I think she needs like some spiritual healing of some sort, need Jesus, but I'm going to play this.
Look, the bottom line is that America needs a free press that is willing to speak truth to power right now, more than ever. And I think that we have to be very clear-eyed when we think about the president-elect and cover the president-elect. And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story.
And let me just say, I heard it through the grapevine that The View is going off the air. Okay, there possibly will be no more. And I don't know how I feel about that. Will I miss them? I don't know.
So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news. He is the guy who ushered in alternative facts. He is the guy who attacked 3 Black female journalists. He's the guy that revoked Jim Acosta's press credentials for asking him a question. And so I think that this president-elect, I hate to say it, would like nothing more than to have only Fox News cover him, would like nothing more than a state-sponsored media. And I don't think he can be trusted in the way that other presidents can be trusted. This is an aberration.
But the reality is he doesn't just have Fox News. He didn't do a lot.
And see, yeah, she was about to explain, Alyssa was about to explain. Hello, everyone. Hello, Slick Rick. Thank you so much for joining. Alyssa was about to explain that he got Donald Trump, when he went on the Joe Rogan show, he got tons, millions upon millions, maybe more than that, of views every time he goes on one of these podcasts. And the mainstream news doesn't get anywhere near those kinds of numbers. So all of these networks are going to have to do a reset. Okay, at the end of the day, their numbers suck. Okay, people are watching other alternative ways to get their news. They're not depending on MSNBC, ABC, CBS, CNN. They're not depending on those networks. They are going other places because they trust the other sources more than they trust them. And so the mainstream media the news has a problem. Mainstream clefty lefty news has a problem that they need to fix. And I think by MSNBC going to Mar-a-Lago is in their way trying to get ahead of it, trying to attempt to make amends, and also looking at the fact that their numbers actually stink. And people are sick and tired of this man being demonized. And some of us do our homework more than others do their homework. We're sick and tired of someone being demonized and not showing the true person. At what point do you think that you can just continue to lie every day, every hour of every day, and expect us not to get tired of it? And I just got a true story of when I was watching CNN and I was not liking Donald Trump. I had TDS syndrome. And I still remember working on my laptop, sitting in my family room, and they were sitting around the anchor table on CNN, just berating Donald Trump. It seemed like for at least a half an hour. I mean, I don't know how long it was, but it seemed like forever. And I honestly remember saying, okay, I get it already. You hate him. Move on. Talk about something else. I get it. And I was one who probably agreed with them, but I was sick of it. So you can only imagine how other people were feeling, seeing that. And over time, it's like, something's not right here. And they're not counting on the God factor. I keep telling you guys that they're not counting on the God factor. So MSNBC's ratings and other channels have just literally gone into the toilet. They really have. And I want to show this other article here. And this is coming by way of CNN, of course. And it's New York. It says the news was so shocking that some Morning Joe viewers probably spit out their coffee. MSNBC co-host Joe Scarborough, and Mika, I lost my place here. And Mika Zerzinski went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Donald Trump. And Zerzinski revealed at the beginning of Monday's show, the Friday rendezvous was the first time we have seen him in 7 years, she added. In a back and forth that the husband and wife co-host scripted ahead of time, Scarborough said, we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so. But what did we agree on? But what we did agree on was to restart communications, Zerzinski said, suggesting that their behavior should be a model for others. The meeting between Trump and the progressive cable network's hosts, two of the most avowed anti-Trump hosts on television, immediately raised speculation about a detente, whatever that is, with the president-elect and sparked criticism from some Morning Joe fans. Veteran media critic Jeff Jarvis, a loyal Joe viewer, said on Threads that the meeting was a betrayal of their colleagues, democracy, and us all. It is a disgusting show of obeisance in advance. Others on social media vowed not to watch the show anymore, though it is impossible to measure how widespread that sentiment was. Scarborough and Zerzinski anticipated the criticism and addressed some of it in Monday morning's announcement. Don't be mistaken. We are not here to defend or normalize Donald Trump, Scarborough said. We are here to report on him and to hopefully provide you insights for understanding these deeply unsettling times. The co-host, however, did not share many details from the Friday sit-down. Zerzinski said Trump was cheerful, upbeat, and seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. She did not specify which ones, and we can only assume. In her explanation of the meeting, Zerzinski pointed to Trump's election victory and said, Joe and I realized it is time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but talking with him. That's what they did nearly a decade ago, back before Trump first took office. Scarborough, a former Florida congressman, was an old friend of Trump's and a welcome guest at Mar-a-Lago. When Trump entered the presidential race in 2015, he frequently called into Morning Joe and schmoozed with the host. You guys have been supporters and I really appreciate it, Trump said during one of the televised chats. The morning after he won the New Hampshire primary in 2016, Scarborough also gave Trump campaign advice during the Republican primary and called him a masterful politician. And, it makes you wonder, what happened? Well, really what happened is this: Trump craved support and praise from the insider crowd that Morning Joe cultivated, but the relationship was rocky at times because Scarborough and others on Morning Joe criticized some of Trump's conduct, like the candidate's December 2015 proposal to ban Muslims until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. And Scarborough also once cut off a live interview with Trump. And I'll leave this in the description for you all to refer back to later. But yeah, something went wrong somewhere. When you work for a lefty network and you have a MAGA Republican on your hands here, then you got to wonder exactly, what actually happened. And I also wanted to show another clip. Now, this is also from Fox. And then I'm going to show you how the mainstream media, you saw how low their numbers were. I'm going to show you how the independent numbers look. First of all, let me show you this with Benny Johnson. If you're looking here, and I don't know if you can see this, hopefully you can see this clearly. Look at the numbers that individual streamers who covered the U.S. election on election day got. Megyn Kelly got 788.6 thousand. We have Destiny 809,000. We have Timcast 1.1 million. Charlie Kirk 1.16 million. Benny Johnson 1.46 million. We have PBD podcast 1.6 million, and others. And look, you have Steven Crowder up at 4.47 million. Okay, that is crazy. And the numbers for the top networks, which I showed you earlier, and I'm just going to go back and look at this so that you can just revisit we're going to look at this because I think these people are going to have to do something different with how they report the news. Again, this is TV viewership numbers for the 2024 election. So they are in the toilet. CBS was at 3.5. Again, CNN 4.7 million. Then we have NBC 5.3, MSNBC 5.5, ABC 5.7, and Fox all the way up to 9.8 million. So Fox's numbers are about double of these others here. But look at where CBS is, 3.5. Okay, that is less than some of the independent ones that I just showed you. And look at News Nation and all of that. So and then when you add up all of those independent podcast numbers, it crushes the mainstream competition. It absolutely demolishes it. And they have got to do something different. They cannot continue down this narrative. Nobody is listening to them. And so, so we're going to see here, I'm going to show you an actual clip of Fox talking about this very, very thing. So here we go.
She just said maybe Mika's not a journalist. You think?
Well, I mean, make MSNBC great again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Look, the ratings are no joke.
Yeah.
And networks can think of it as being cyclical. So this cycle started last Wednesday morning after the election, and they're feeling it now. But I just don't understand where they are going to go forward and not admit that they lied. Because if they really thought he was a fascist, a Nazi, and he was getting at Trump supporters with those comments about MSNBC or MSG, the Madison Square Garden crowd, calling supporters Nazis and so on and so forth. Look, they have to admit they lied before they can go forth. Like, I'll never believe another word that they say.
Me either.
And by the way, that's more MSNBC, those clips we showed, than I've seen in years. I mean, that was a lot of material. I don't, I try not to have that much of it in my system. I think I might be allergic to it.
That's good for your mental health. So that's probably a wise
I'm
decision.
sure they're nice people, but they lied.
John, the fact that Trump took this meeting, Brooke Singman at Fox News Digital reached out, got some comments from him, and I found them to be fascinating. So for someone who's a fascist and all of these things, he said, I'm not looking for retribution, grandstanding, or to destroy people who treated me unfairly. He thinks it's vital to have a free, fair, and open media, and he has an obligation to talk to even those who mistreated him badly.
I wish I
see, he's not trying to get back at people. And that's the thing that they try to keep pushing off on us, that Trump is seeking retribution. Everything the left media says is not what Donald Trump is saying. And it's going to show us who's telling the truth, who is seeking retribution, who is telling the truth. Was it the mainstream media or was it Donald Trump? He said repeatedly that it won't be good for the country. My thing is, though, do you continue not seeking retribution with people who maybe had something to do with, Pennsylvania, what happened there, or they keep coming at you, at some point, Is he going to stay like, I'm not going to seek retribution? Now, I'm not trying to speak for Donald Trump. I'm just looking at it from how I would look at it. If I were in that position, I would be like, I have to do something. These people are constantly at me. You know, I mean, he's got to make it so, I don't know. He's got to, maybe Matt Gaetz will handle them. The nominee for attorney general. Maybe he'll just go ahead and handle them, because I think about it. I'm like, how in the world is this going to end up working? I'm not quite sure about how that's going to work. But the fact is this, they're just treating the man so horrible, always horrible. I want to show you a clip of the news, how they actually at one point talk about Donald Trump, because I used to watch MSNBC a little bit, but mostly CNN. But check this out right here. It says capitalism is forcing MSNBC to set their egos aside and meet with Trump. If they don't, they're done. The market has spoken and they're sick of their fear porn. Good on them to meet with Trump. Good on Trump for accepting their offer. Now listen to these people now. Just listen to them.
And then he says that the news network that is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he...
Now I'll just stop it right there, because this is like kind of a bit of a repeat. But I just really wanted to show you the difference in tone, that how they were talking about Donald Trump. And now they see they've got to do something different, because we got to be honest. Most of the country voted for Trump. Okay. And these people, their ratings are hurting right now. So they can't continue down this same path. And out of all the main news networks, Fox was doing better than the other ones. So, hey, and you know how The View is doing. Their ratings literally suck out loud, like really, really horrible. And I am so glad that this man is in the White House, because we need a free and honest press. Okay. Tell the truth. Don't be so biased and lopsided and edit the clips to make it look like he's saying something that Donald Trump actually did not say. Play the whole clip. Bring it in context. Stop all that. And they're complicit, in my opinion. Allegedly, the media is complicit in causing a lot of this chaos. Because if people would just not demonize this man some people watch the news and think it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. They think the news is telling them the truth, but in actuality, it is not. So when they say Donald Trump is a fascist, he's a this and a that, and you know what MSNBC did? They showed something from 1939, I believe, when the Nazis met at Madison Square Garden, right after Donald Trump had his rally at Madison Square Garden, and some kind of way wanted to correlate the two. What the heck? A lot of people met at Madison Square Garden. That's no correlation. And if you watch one of my videos that I pushed out today, there were these men dressed up in black, walking around with black flags with the swastika on it and saying curse words and racist slurs to people. That's what they were saying. And people are going to try on the news to try and correlate this to how the world is going to be under Trump. Because I'm telling you, these Democrats are out here doing this. I believe that the evil powers that be in our government are behind those text messages that are going out to Black and Latino people saying we're going to meet you at your house and you got to pick cotton. Nobody picks cotton, is automated. So they're even rusty on their history. This is fear mongering, trying to make it seem like there's a correlation between Trump's election win and these text messages and these people walking around with these swastika flags. That's what they're doing. And I'm not falling for it. I see who it is loud. I'm just as clear as day, just as clear as the nose on my face. And I know you all do too as well. But thank you all so much for watching. I am going to be back here at my 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight for my regularly scheduled live. I wanted to get this video in. I thought it was interesting to see how MSNBC and other networks are going to be resetting, so to speak, maybe not just talking about Donald Trump, but talking actually with Donald Trump. I think that would be very nice. And I know you guys think that would be nice as well. And Slick Rick, you say, I believe it was the Democratic Party that said, yes, of course. Absolutely, I do believe it. They're the party of the Klan, the Klan. They're the party of Jim Crow and slavery. That's the party. And they don't know how to do it any other way. I mean, they see that it's not working and they're still going to keep trying, thinking that if I just push this narrative more, it's going to work more. It's not going to work. We rejected it very loud and clear as a country on November 5th. About 2 weeks ago, we rejected everything they said. We don't believe them at all. We just don't believe them. Yes. Oh, hi, Mauricio. Late to the party. That's okay. It's going to be up for you to look at it. But look at my videos today. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, and share this video. Make sure you smash like. Hello, Iron Ear. Yes, thank you all for joining. I am about to leave now, but I will be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight for my regularly scheduled live. And I will be speaking with you guys on that. I think I'll be doing probably another Candace Owens video, and maybe some other information too that I find interesting that I'll share with you all. But you all, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It means so much to me that you do so. You guys are absolutely amazing. I really appreciate you all so, so very much. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America. March on, Warriors. Be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Bye-bye.